To what purpose does the gentleman from Oregon rise?
Please, Ms. Woolsey, in
Without
the order.
objection.
Thank the gentleman. Next month, the government is going to go to the expense of sending out a letter to well over 40 million Social Security recipients, telling them they're not going to get a cost of living adjustment, that they didn't experience inflation this year. Now, the only problem with that is the way we measure inflation is heavily oriented toward non-essential consumer goods, of which seniors do not buy a lot. Seniors have to buy certain essentials. Pharmaceuticals, up double digits in the last year. Seniors buy health insurance, Medigap policies, up high single digits in the last year. Seniors have rent and utilities, probably also up, depending upon where they live. But they're not entitled to a COLA because of a defect in the way we calculate COLAs. I've tried to fix this for years by having a special calculation for seniors and not one for younger consumers, which is essentially what the CPI is oriented towards. It isn't even very reflective of the costs of average American families. It is very skewed. It was skewed beginning in the Reagan years and has never been fixed to try and understate real inflation to real Americans. In this case, we have an opportunity. We could fix this injustice to our seniors and help those most in need, those who, many of whom are either principally or totally dependent upon a Social Security income. We could give them a one-time $250 payment, which would equate to almost a 2% cost of living adjustment. That would cover the increase in their Medicare Part B premium, maybe some of their Medigap insurance, maybe a little bit of what they're having to pay in higher pharmaceutical costs. For many seniors, it could avert a disaster in terms of their personal budgets. So I've introduced legislation along with 14 of my colleagues. Today I reintroduced it, which would give a one-time $250 payment to 48.9 million people who are on OASDI, that is Social Security and Disability, 5.1 on SSI, 1.4 million veterans, and 200,000 railroad retirees. Now, I want to be fiscally responsible. Don't want to take it out of the Social Security Trust Fund, which is looking toward problems some 37 years down the road or so, or starting in 2037. I would pay for this, and it's quite simple. In order to give this benefit to over 50 million people, something for them to make ends meet and scratch by, all we have to do is ask that select group of Americans, many of whom work on Wall Street, who will earn over $1.4 million this year, that for their earnings over $1.4 million, that they pay the same Social Security tax as every working American who earns less than $106,000. The tax now is only applied to income dollars. After that, you don't pay it. That means if you earn $1.4 million, your tax rate is about 7% of someone who earns $40,000 a year. Let's make it fair. I hear a lot about flat taxes and fairness. Let's make it fair. Let's make it flat. Let's ask those people who earn over $1.4 million to pay the same percentage of that income in Social Security tax as people who earn less than $106,000. And if they did that, just for 1 year, we could give those 50 million seniors and disabled and veterans and railroad retirees a small $250 one-time cost of living adjustment. I think it's only fair in this tough economy that those at the absolute tip top just do a little bit more to help those most in need. I recommend this legislation to my colleagues.
The gentleman yields back his time.